YouTube, what up, man? It's your boy Kane, aka Knievel. I'm back, man. I know I ain't been as consistent as I should be, and I apologize, man, for the people that actually watch my stuff. So just dealing with a lot of stuff, man. That's all. But we're gonna get it back in order. I'm gonna get more consistent, man. You know, dealing with life. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. But we got another paternity reaction I'm gonna do, man. Couples that reunited. So we're gonna get into it.
Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel.
Ms. Garcia, you are here to finally get the answer to a question which has plagued you for the past 9 years. Who is my real father?
They're important for me because since I was 16, I felt lost. A part of me just disappeared. I felt empty. The man that is supposed to be my father, I can't get close to him.
So, Mr. Bryant, when was the first time you heard about Miss Garcia, about Monica?
It was about 4 months ago.
So you didn't know you had a daughter?
No, I didn't.
Until 4 months ago, and she's 24.
We were together for about 2 months. One day he left.
I didn't leave. I left the house.
Well, you went out.
Okay.
You know, I don't know where you went.
I couldn't find her, so I just went on with my life, you know.
Today we'll show you the cases of couples reunited on paternity court.
Ms. Thompson, you are summoning Mr. McKinley to court to prove to him and his wife that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Legend. How did you end up in a relationship with a married man?
I ended up in a relationship with Terrell, and I wouldn't consider it a relationship. I would consider it friends with benefits. I was on Facebook, and he was always liking my pictures. He was commenting on my pictures. One day, I finally gave him a chance because he was real thirsty, and I gave him a chance because I was like, okay, I want to go out on a date. I took him to the studio. We spit some bars. Make a long story short, we ended up dating, having sexual encounters. We protected ourselves majority of the time.
Coleman versus Coleman. Mark Coleman claimed his 7-year marriage was in jeopardy due to suspicions of his wife's infidelity and pregnancy by another man. Shaniqua Coleman maintained that Mark was the father of their unborn child and hoped to rebuild trust.
Mr. Coleman, you say your 7-year marriage is on the rocks because you claim to have proof your wife cheated and is pregnant by another man. You say you will ask for a divorce when the results prove your case. Ms. Coleman, you say you know your husband is your unborn child's father and hope your husband will learn to let your past be your past and start to trust you again.
My marriage is at stake today. My sobriety and our kids is at stake today.
He's not the only one who has anything to lose. Like, it's my marriage. It's our family. It's what we have.
How many children do you have together?
4.
But if it's your marriage and it's what y'all have, why would you risk all of that? To potentially be in a situation where you probably pregnant by another man. It's messed up.
This is a family.
Yes.
He did keep me in a safe place where I couldn't use. And that's what made me really fall for him. Like, he had this sweet, loving attitude towards me.
You find out Ms. Coleman is pregnant. Find that out. You also find out she contracted an STD.
Yes.
I was on the streets. I was ripping and running. It was infidelity. I was very promiscuous. I masked a lot of things with men and drugs. So I didn't always protect myself, and that's on me.
And then when you found that out, Mr. Coleman, that is what began to fuel your doubt.
Yes.
They had 4 children together. Mark struggled with addiction and sought treatment, encouraging his wife to do the same. Doubts arose during Shaniqua's pregnancy due to past infidelity and an STD complication.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Genetic analysis was performed and a probability of paternity was generated. In the case of Coleman versus Coleman, when it comes to the child that Mrs. Coleman is currently carrying, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Coleman, you are the father.
Listen, man, congratulations to that situation. I'm glad it worked out, but to catch an STD and have the question whether or not your wife is having your child, he might want to go ahead and get paternity tests on the other 4 or the other 3. Because man, I don't really have no words for that one, man. That's a tough pill to swallow, man. Like, to be with somebody for 7 years, have 4 kids, and have to question that whole thing, that's kind of rough, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you. No more comments. None of that no more.
You all have been through a lot. You've overcome a lot.
Despite challenges, a DNA test revealed Mark was the father of the unborn child, leading to reconciliation. The court highlighted the importance of sobriety and supporting their family's recovery efforts. The couple left with renewed hope for their marriage and children. Kennedy vs. Pope. In the case of Kennedy vs. Pope, Bradford Kennedy claimed he was not the father of Dinah Pope's 3-month-old son, Christian. Dinah insisted that Bradford was the father and accused him of denying responsibility.
Mr. Kennedy, you claim to be a nice guy who was forced to make the tough decision to drag the defendant to court to prove you did not father her 3-month-old son, Christian. Ms. Pope, you and your mother are insulted that Mr. Kennedy denies paternity and refuse to acknowledge your child. You say he laid down with you and now he has to step up and pay.
I believe she's just looking for someone to pin it on or pick up the slack from her previous, encounter.
We never did. It never had a chance to take off. We did get along in the beginning, but he was a jerk and I no longer wanted to be around that. We had a lot of things in common. We had the same birthday, the same football team.
That's enough to sleep with somebody.
My version is we were friends from the beginning, but then it became, friends with benefits kind of a ordeal.
You did make the decision to kind of pull back from this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she says he starts being a jerk and not returning my calls, the truth is you were doing that.
Yeah.
I found out that I was pregnant at 6 weeks. I had a cutie one morning and threw it up at work. I put the 2 and 2 together. It wasn't rocket science, and I knew that I was pregnant. And after that point, he really didn't have much to say over the fact that I was.
At that point, she had said there were 2 other gentlemen involved, and I had asked her, could it potentially be mine? And she said no. I just want to verify that it's truly mine and I'm not going to be taking care of someone else's.
Bradford explained their relationship began as friends, but turned physical. They were never in a committed relationship. Dinah felt hurt when Bradford distanced himself, especially after learning he was involved with another woman who had a child. She informed Bradford of her pregnancy tale, mentioning other possible fathers. Bradford doubted paternity due to this information.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Kennedy versus Pope, when it comes to 3-month-old Christian Pope, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Kennedy, you are the father. How do you feel?
Like I got a lot of work to do.
Ms. Pope?
Thank you, Your Honor.
After a DNA test, it was confirmed that Bradford Kennedy was indeed Christian's father. Despite his doubts at first, Kennedy eventually came to accept his role as Christian's father. Garcia
he did the right thing, though. He didn't go crazy. He took it to court. He wanted to verify, see what was going on. He said he was going to go ahead and get to work, man. That's what you're supposed to do as a man, so I salute that.
Bryant. A man stood before Judge Lauren Lake to learn if he had fathered a daughter 24 years ago after receiving a message from a long-lost lover on social media. The case involved Monica Garcia seeking answers about her paternity, and Francis Sanchez, who believed Timothy Bryant was Monica's father. Francis hadn't seen Timothy in 25 years, and Monica had never met him.
Ms. Garcia, you are here to finally get the answer to a question which has plagued you for the past 9 years. Who is my real father? You and your mother hope today's DNA results will prove your paternity and you will finally be able to connect with your dad. Ms. Sanchez, you say it's been 25 years since you last saw Mr. Bryant, and your daughter has never had the opportunity to meet the man you claim is her father.
They're important for me because since I was 16, I felt lost. A part of me just disappeared. I felt empty. The man that is supposed to be my father, I can't get close to him. I don't want to get close to him because if I do, I feel like he's just gonna leave again.
So, Mr. Bryant, when was the first time you heard about Miss Garcia, about Monica?
It was about 4 months ago.
So you didn't know you had a daughter?
No, I didn't.
Until 4 months ago, and she's 24.
We were together for about 2 months. One day he left.
I didn't leave. I left the house.
Well, you went out.
Okay.
I don't know where you went.
I couldn't find her, so I just went on with my life, you know.
How long after that did you find out you're pregnant?
When I went to a gynecologist, I was already like 2 or 3 months pregnant.
The DNA results were crucial to Monica, who felt lost without knowing her true father. When Timothy learned about Monica, he reached out, surprised to discover he might have a daughter. The court revealed that Timothy was Monica's father, leading to tears and joy as Monica finally connected with her dad.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Sanchez Garcia versus Bryant, when it comes to 24-year-old Monica, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Bryant, you are the father.
I want to know the backstory behind this, man, because first of all, Mama fine. And Pop seemed like he wanted, I mean, he probably would have been there, you know what I'm saying? He like, damn, I only found out 4 months ago. So out of 24 years, man, like, how do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you, but time was different back then too, man. They didn't have social media, they didn't have Instagram, Telegram, you know, different ways to kind of find people and connect the way that we do now. So, I mean, it's fortunate, but it's unfortunate at the same time that he missed out on that time.
Wow. Come here.
I'm happy for you. Oh, look how you're looking at your daddy. Does it feel good?
It does. Hi, Dad.
Boston vs. Murphy. Jeremy Boston brought Teresa Murphy to court, claiming he couldn't be the father of her 10-month-old son, Tristan. Teresa insisted Jeremy was denying the truth and a DNA test would prove everything. Jeremy argued that he couldn't be Tristan's father because he didn't remember being in a sexual relationship with her. She disagreed, saying that they had used protection, but still conceived.
Mr. Boston, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you say you have undeniable proof that there is no way possible that you are the biological father of the defendant's 10-month-old son, Tristan. Ms. Murphy, you say that you are tired of Mr. Boston's lies and you want him to stop denying that he's Tristan's father. You believe the DNA results will be your proof today. Is your proof that you are not Tristan's father?
Yana, you have to have sex to make a baby. You know, I don't remember even doing that well.
Lies. It is your assertion to this court that you've never been in a sexual relationship with Ms. Murphy?
I mean, I'm not denying it like that, but I'm just saying.
Did you or did you not have a sexual relationship with Ms. Murphy?
I mean, I had,
She
Yana,
did.
but we
Plenty
had
of times
protection.
Now you're saying you used protection.
Yes.
So obviously you all were not boyfriend and girlfriend.
No.
Yes, we were.
She done turned the friendship into a whole marriage.
The court has identified and located another man who says he was intimate with you as well. We've determined that you, in fact, have had a relationship with Ms. Murphy. Message on Facebook that she was potentially pregnant by you and you deleted her?
Blocked it.
If the baby's yours, what are you gonna do?
Be a father.
You got a job?
Yes, I got like 2 jobs.
Excellent. I hope this child is yours.
They couldn't agree on their relationship status. Teresa explained that they were together for 4 months, but Jeremy claimed otherwise. The court then brought in Tyron Gregory, another potential father, further complicating matters. The DNA results revealed neither Jeremy nor Tyron was Tristan's father. The truth left everyone unsettled, especially Teresa, who now had to navigate this uncertain situation.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Boston versus Murphy, when it comes to 10-month-old Tristan Murphy, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Gregory, you are not his father. The next results read as follows. In the case of Boston versus Murphy, when it comes to 10-month-old Tristan Murphy, Mr. Boston, you are not the father. Damn. Do you know who this child's father is? Thank you for the truth. Because you can't get anywhere till you tell the truth. You owe him an apology.
Sorry.
It just hurt so bad.
Thompson vs. McKinley.
Come on, man. You done brought 2 men to court. Don't know who their daddy is. So how many dudes would you around that time, man? Like, that's, man, oh, that shit give me goosebumps.
Terrell McKinley arrived in court with his wife to dispute the paternity of Crystal Thompson's 6-month-old son, Legend. Crystal alleged that Terrell was the father and blamed his wife for his denial. Terrell admitted to an affair with Crystal, but insisted she should find the true father elsewhere. Crystal and Terrell's relationship began casually through social media interactions. Terrell initially claimed that he was separated, but Crystal later discovered this was untrue. The court unraveled details of their encounters, including outings and mutual interest in music.
Ms. Thompson, you are summoning Mr. McKinley to court to prove to him and his wife that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Legend. You say his wife is petty, and she is the cause of his paternity denial. Mr. McKinley, you admit that Ms. Thompson was an affair gone wrong, and you say Ms. Thompson needs to leave you and your wife of 17 years alone and find her baby's father. How did you end up in a relationship with a married man?
I ended up in a relationship with Terrell, and
Cause he was trying to get some ass, something new. Wife looked like she was getting on his goddamn nerves, and 17 years with a person, man. He probably was trying to find something new, man. Seen a young girl, see what was up.
consider it a relationship. I would consider it friends with benefits. I was on Facebook and he was always liking my pictures. He was commenting on my pictures. He was always trying to get attention, to be noticed. One day, I finally gave him a chance because he was real thirsty. And I gave him a chance because I was like, okay, I want to go out on a date. I dated him. We had rap in common because I rap, you know, when I write music, I sing. I took him to the studio. We spit some bars. Make a long story short, we ended up dating, having sexual encounters. We protected ourselves majority of the time.
Terrell argued against paternity due to doubts about the child's features. DNA results confirmed Terrell as Legend's father, prompting the court to encourage better co-parenting for the child's sake.
In the case of Thompson versus McKinley, when it comes to 6-month-old Legend, it has been determined by this court, Mr. McKinley, you are the father.
Father, bro. Yeah, you can tell me eyes, but he know goddamn well.
In the spirit of that.
Hey, he know goddamn well. When he leave that courtroom, man, his wife gonna be on his ass, boy. You done been married to her for 17 years and you done had a baby, 6-month-old baby. Man, she about to be on his ass. If she ain't already doing no bullshit, man, she about to, what? She about to be on his ass.
Beauty and that innocence. Let's go forward better than we have before.
Wilson vs. Kelly. Christiana Wilson believed that Garrett Kelly, who passed away, was the father of her 4-year-old daughter, Zoe. She wanted to prove this to Kelly's family, who had doubts. The family's rejection of Zoe hurt Christiana. Mr. and Mrs. Kelly did not believe Zoe was their granddaughter due to Garrett expressing doubts before he died. Christiana explained she was in a relationship with Garrett when she got pregnant, although Garrett had another girlfriend at the time.
Ms. Wilson, you opened your case today because you believe the deceased, Garrett Kelly, is your 4-year-old daughter Zoe's biological father. You claim Mr. Kelly's family refuses to accept your daughter until you prove to them that he is her dad. You say these results will finally give your daughter what she deserves. Mr. Kelly, you are here with your wife and you believe that your late son did not father the plaintiff's daughter. You claim this was an unresolved issue before your son passed, and it is your responsibility to see it through so that he can rest in peace.
Well, I think she deserves to know her other side of the family. She's not receiving any type of love, nothing. And it's obviously because there's doubts. Those doubts were put there, I assume, by him.
And so there's no connection, you say?
No, there is no connection. I reached out. Nobody ever. They would always just ignore my...
I'm going to just say this real quick. One, the baby definitely looked like him. So that might be his child. Two, they seem like, I don't know these folks from a can of paint. They seem like that if that child is their deceased sons, they seem like they're going to be some crazy, amazing grandparents, man. They're going to try to make up for a lot of lost time because that's going to be a piece of their son. You know what I mean? So.
Messages, you know, it was just unanswered. I would send pictures and still
I would never get anything.
You do not believe your son fathered Miss Wilson's child?
I don't believe Zoe is his child because of what Garrett had said to me before he passed away. I asked him, "Are you the father?" And he said he did not know. So that gave me a doubt, and then we didn't go on any farther with the discussion because he had passed away.
The court performed a DNA test using Garrett's father, Gary Kelly, which confirmed a 99.7% relation to Zoe. This brought relief and joy to everyone involved. Gary expressed happiness at having another connection to his late son.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased, we performed a DNA test with his surviving parent in the case of Wilson versus Kelly. When it comes to 4-year-old Zoe, it has been determined by this court the percentage of relatedness between Mr. Gary and 4-year-old Zoe is 99.7%. You are related.
Told y'all, man. I mean, I wish I had an update on that one, man, because that little girl gonna be spoiled. That little girl gonna be spoiled. They go, woo. You see his face, man? Excitement. Yeah.
Lapine vs. Lapine. The case was about Lapine versus Lapine. Brandy Lapine believed Richard Lapine was her father for 30 years until a family dinner revelation suggested otherwise. She sought the truth. Richard, facing jail time for unpaid child support, questioned his paternity after the family's disclosure. He spent years in and out of jail for child support. Brandy's sister, Jennifer, confirmed Richard as her father through DNA testing.
Ms. Lapine, you say for the past 30 years, you'd always believed the defendant, Mr. Lapine, was your dad. Then just months ago at a family dinner, you were told by a family member that he's not your biological father. Still in shock, you state you're here today to finally discover the truth. Mr. Lapine, you say you've spent years in jail for unpaid child support and your life has been turned upside down. Tomorrow you have yet another court date. You claim you could be locked up again if today's results prove you are indeed Miss Lapine's biological father.
We was at a family dinner and we was all just discussing how our parents was, and then family members started saying that, well, you don't know if he's your dad or not because you don't look like your dad and he might not be your dad. I went to another family member and asked if this was true, and they just told me that this was not the time or place to talk about it and just shrugged it off. I called him the next day and asked him if it was true, and my father said that that guy was around at the time, so then he started questioning it.
4 to 5 years in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
For unpaid child support.
Yes, ma'am.
For a young woman that calls you and then says, some family member told me you may not even be my biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You actually have a court date tomorrow concerning the child support for this young woman that you're still behind on. You could be thrown back in jail again for being behind, and yet you still don't know whether you're her biological father. But your other daughter, you claim, looks like you.
Dark hair, dark skin, skinny, identical to me.
Mr. Lapine is your father?
Yes.
And you grew up believing Brandy was your sister?
Yes.
However, the test revealed that Richard Lapine was not Brandy's biological father. Despite this, Richard acknowledged Brandy as his daughter, and the court highlighted the importance of family beyond biological ties. The court session ended, recognizing the legal issues, but focusing on their family bond.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. The first result pertains to Jennifer. In the case of Lapine versus Lapine, when it comes to Jennifer Lapine, Mr. Richard Lapine, you are her father. The next result pertains to Brandy. In the case of Lapine versus Lapine, as it pertains to the paternity of Ms. Brandy Lapine, Ms. Lapine, Mr. Richard Lapine, is not your biological father.
What the fuck, man? Bruh. Man, that's some, man, what the fuck, bro? This man has spent 4 to 5 years in jail for unpaid child support for a child that's not his. If the family members already knew that she might not have been his, why ain't nobody tell nobody when she was younger? Like, you know how cold-blooded that is, bro, to do some shit like that, man, and let it ride? Bruh, man, what, man? Bruh, these ain't even my fucking kids, and I'm stressed the fuck out.
No matter what, still my daughter.
This is where we'll end our video. We hope you enjoyed.
Fuck that. Last one, sorry. Fuck that shit. Hell no. Can't do it. Nope. 4 to 5 years in jail for unpaid child support for a kid that's not yours, and nobody fuck around. Nobody told you. Nobody gave you the. Listen, man, fellas, if you have kids, man, you better make sure, man. Because this shit, that's painful, man. That man got to be in his, man, he probably in his late 40s, 50s, man. That shit will fuck your life up. Fellas, stay on point. Females, please be honest. If you made it this far, it's your boy Kane, aka Knievel. I'm out, man.